Okay, hello and welcome. My name's Chris, and I'm with Steel Tiger Media here presenting the Knights Hall's Chapter War against the Queens versus the Witches. It's a beautiful day here in Nashua, New Hampshire. We are outside at the Jewel Park. It's about mid-70s, overcast, so no glaring sun on our fighters. And it is a great day for fighting. We're going to be starting today's event off with a men's all-v-all. So we can get the male fighters here in the Northeast getting some experience, getting some training in. And then we're going to be jumping into our quarter-style chapter matches. So it's going to be 4 quarters. Each quarter is going to start off with duels. And those duels are going to count as points for the cumulative score at the end of the 4 quarters. After the rounds of dueling, they're going to have a set amount of time for melees. Our melees are going to be judged as last man or woman or the person standing. So, what can we expect today? Well, we've got six fighters for the Queens and Witches today. So, they're probably going to be doing 3v3s at max, but most likely you're going to be doing some 2v2s. And having that extra fighter to cycle in and out. We are 2 minutes out from the beginning. Should probably go over some of the main rules. If this is your first time watching Steel Fighting, yes, this is real fighting. This is a combat sport. These fighters are in it to win it. We are fighting with real steel weapons. They are blunted to a set thickness, and the armor they're wearing usually wavers from 50 to about 80 pounds, depending on the size of the fighter and the material of that armor. In our melees and free-for-alls, pretty much any strikes go. There are a few prohibited attacks. There are no strikes to the neck, no grappling around the neck with your weapon. Arms are acceptable. You cannot strike the back of the knee, the foot, or the groin. Outside of that, you're going to be seeing kicking, punching, weapon strikes, and they are going to be swinging for real, because the objective is to put your opponent on the ground. Now, you can do that through trips, you can do that through throws, you can do that through checks, or just you hit them so hard they don't want to be standing anymore, and they take a knee. We have Jay, who's approaching the field. Jay, the Hall father of the Knights Hall in Nashua, who is hosting this event. He will probably be putting out some words when we get started, but it looks like we have another 60 seconds or so before we do that. And so we are going to kick it off with the men's all-v-all. This is just sort of a free-for-all, fun experiment for the fighters to get more kit time and just have more fun smashing each other. We've got, let's see, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? Yeah, 7 fighters, I think, for the men. You know, most of these fighters have a bit of experience. I think pretty much everyone who's going to be in the list is out of their rookie phase, except for maybe Josh. Josh Bro is still, I think, under his 18 months. But we'll introduce them as they come into the field. So let's cut to the action. Okay, and here come our men's free-for-all fighters. Entering first, we have Chuck, the Battle Dwarf Valis, followed by Liam Fitzpatrick Rise. On the far corner is Chuck, the Woodchuck Knight in red and white. Josh Bro with his mace and punching shield. Dustin Gunnarsson, who's wielding 2 D-guards from Broken Falchions. So he's just going brass knuckles for this. This isn't like a sanctioned fight, so we're kind of being a little loose with our weapon restrictions. we have Egon, newly arrived from Colorado, with the teal van brace and rear brace. And then here at about, well, with the red pauldrons, we have Jack. Good amount of experience in these fighters, so this should be a really entertaining fight. Our referee, Brandon Ross, giving some last-minute instruction, and a bit of a surprise to the fighters because we're going to be mixing up their fights. The men are going to be fighting during the downtime. Each quarter of the women's chapter war will have a break, and we're going to have the men fill up that time. For the first 2 fights, they're going to be just going for it, and then I think we have some duels scheduled for the halftime. And we've got some extra fighters who are just here for the duels. All right. We have a live audience today here, so we're going to do some photo ops. We're going to get maybe some introductions for our fighters. Alright, so what are we seeing here? We're seeing a lot of sword, falchion and shield, maces and shields. Chuck Vallis, he has recently earned his axe here at the Knights Hall, so he's fighting with his short axe. Oh, and we are off, and they are going right for it. Egon definitely... Oh! Ooh! We have a loss of helmet, but Chuck is okay. Okay, we're going to stop fight, let Chuck get out with his helmet loss, and restart right off. Okay, so we have Egon down in the corner. Looks like Liam got him with a good toss. Oh, now we have a strong pile up. Josh is looking for a way to engage. He goes for Dustin. Dustin with his brass knuckles is finding a way to throw, and he gets it. Okay, so Dustin's really looking to work his martial arts with his chosen weapon style. So he's throwing some hard kicks and some judo sweeps. Oh, Liam gets forced down by Chuck. Okay, so now we're down to Chuck and Dustin. All right, so how's this going to go down? Because Dustin is ready to clinch. Oh, okay, we're dropping, we're going bare knuckle. All right. Normally, one is not permitted to fight without a weapon, but this is just a fun exposition free-for-all. Get some solid knees in. Throw attempt is avoided. Some haymakers left and right. And Dustin's going for that throw, and he gets it. And Dustin is our winner. And it looks like Chuck Goodwin will be the other captain for our pickup teams for the next quarter. And okay, so we got everyone stood up. Looks like Chuck Vallis, his helmet was being worked on, but he's thrown it back on. I don't know if he'll be ready in time to go again for this round. Oh, okay, no, we're picking teams now. That's what we're doing. All right, so Team Dustin has Egon, Jack, and Josh Bro. Team Woodchuck is, of course, Chuck, and Liam. And we're going to see those pickup teams square off at the end of the first quarter. All right, taking the field of the women's teams now. Entering in the gold and black, we have our queens. In the purple and yellow are the witches. Witches are going to be taking the far corner. And we're going to start off with three rounds of duels. We're doing sword and shield duels. Looks like it's going to be Marie, captain of the Witches, versus Megan, captain of the Queens. The squires are helping out, getting some Simon straps hooked up. Simon straps is a strap on the back of the helmet designed to keep it from coming forward off your head. It fixes sort of to the middle shoulder of your armor. Maybe some pre-fight trash talk or encouragement between the two captains. You see our volunteers in the yellow shirts are our squires for today. And in the black and white stripes, we have our counter, Will, who you can see later during the duels fighting. We could probably expect some great longsword work coming from Will. That's what they specialize in. And on the right corner, we have Mikey in the admin black Knights Hall t-shirt. He'll be serving as the counter in that side. Mikey will be pulling double duty today. He's also our field armorer. So, for the duels, the scoring works differently than the melees because we are looking for weapon technique in this format. So, the counters on either corner will be judging clean, edge-on strikes anywhere on the body of your opponent. And whoever gets the most clean strikes at the end of the minute wins the round. And typically we do 3 rounds. So, we'll see if we're doing that today. Alright, and it looks like both fighters are going with falchions. It's a slightly heavier sword than the typical arming sword you'd know for dueling. But let me get myself out of the way and we'll let them fight. Alright. So they square up, both in a hanging guard. Switching to more of an A guard. Sort of even exchange, high and low there. Then from the offside with Megan, got blocked. Kind of a pump fake. Slightly slower sword work with the falchions. It's a heavier weapon, typically used more for bludgeoning. And oh, clean strike from Marie, unanswered. The shot from Megan came in pretty flat. Oh, another clean strike from Marie. Marie trying to throw up some combos. Keeping her guard up. Alright, and now our counters are going to come in. We'll get a definite answer for the winner of that round. Okay, and Brandon with the official result. Okay, it looks like we have a clicker malfunction. So we're gonna swap that out. Thankfully, Mikey has a lot of experience in observing fights, so he probably has an accurate answer. Yep, and Marie takes the first round. And we're going to jump right into round 2. Early fights, both guards kept high. Oh, Megan comes in with a good low strike. Some exchange, but I didn't see any points in it. Oh, good flat snap from Marie. It's probably evening up the round. Now, there are more offensive techniques allowed than weapon strikes in our ACS formats. You are allowed to punch and kick, but they don't actually score you points. A disarm will score you a point, and a takedown will score you a point, but it's only one, so you don't often see them throwing that maneuver, because it's just so much work for just a single point, when you could just be striking. And Marie has had a good series of exchanges here. Megan comes in with a good arm strike there at the end, but not certain it's going to be enough to get her over the lead that Marie had built. Okay, so 3 rounds will happen regardless. And each round 1 will score the team a point. And that point is just as valuable as a round of melees won. So your team construction and design could be built around duelists, and trying to capture all. By 1 point, Marie did take the round. So we're moving on to round 3. Marie's coming in with some very strong combinations. But Megan is coming through that guard and finding her own hits as well. It's still a very close round. Marie comes in the last 10 seconds with a strong combo. She wants to finish ahead. Ooh, an even exchange there. Alright, that's the round. Okay. And Marie sweeps all 3 rounds of the duels. It looks like Megan is fighting with a heavy falchion from one of our male fighters. Apparently she grabbed the wrong one. And the rest of the fighters are taking the field for our melees. Some quick weapon armor adjustments. And all the queens are on the field. We might be doing full 3v3s, which is going to be very tiring. We have 8 minutes of melee scheduled. So here comes another element of strategy. Now that the witches are up 3-0, they could try to run the clock and just grind down the queens and prevent too many rounds of melees. Or they can just, send it and try to get as many points in as they can. I'm curious to see which tactic they're going to go for. Let's do a quick rundown of the teams. On the witches, in the farthest corner, we have Kayla. And the center for the witches, we have Caitlin. And then our captain of the witches on the right corner is Marie again. On the close side here, in gold, we have Erica on the far corner, Julie in the center, and then in the close to the camera corner, the captain, Megan. So they are going to get in as many rounds as they can in this 8 minutes, but it's going to be very exhausting. And if they are all going to be in the whole time, it is going to be a real marathon for the fighters. Typically, if you have extra fighters, you can have them on the sidelines and swap them out in between rounds. Not unlike hockey. We don't have rules for live swaps, but you can exchange in between rounds. All right, looks like the fighters are ready. And remember, the rules for this is last person standing. So the objective is to put your opponent on the ground through whatever means you can muster. The only other stoppage will be if it is 3v1. We do stop that fight because the odds of winning a 3v1 are minuscule, and we don't see any point in potentially needlessly injuring our fighters. Okay, so they square up 1v1v1. Marie breaks through for some striking against Erica. Oh, and it's a one-hit wonder, dropping Erica. And Julie tries to grapple onto Marie, but Marie breaks free. Kayla gets over the top of Megan. Her weapon placement is up against the side of the helmet, so that's a legal spot. And she's trying to grind Megan down, but Megan's in a pretty comfortable spot, wedged in that corner, catching her wind. Marie is waiting for an opportunity to strike. Got calls for swinging for Kate. Yeah. Oh, and Kayla pushes Julie over Erica, the downed opponent. An excellent technique, and that is the end of the first round of melees, 3v1. Okay, so the witches are going to take every opportunity to get as many points as they can. They're not going to rest on the laurels of their dueling wins. That brings it up to 4-0, witches versus queens. Between rounds, they get 1 minute of rest, which is a very small amount of time when you're wearing all that armor. Got a potential armor failure. We're going to have our armorer Mikey jump in, check it out. Some assistance from our Squire Colton. Okay, so the time between rounds has run out. You do get an additional 1 minute for armor repairs. And then I just overheard Brandon saying for the small numbers we have today, each quarter they are going to be given a timeout that they can call if they need more rest time or more armor repair time. If the fighter's armor can't be repaired, they're probably going to have to take a knee and sit this round out, which is going to put them queens at a big disadvantage going into the start of the fight, 2 versus 3. Alright, just in time, our armorer pulls off a repair on field, and we are going into round 2 of the melee. Okay. So we're going to start off. Ooh, the Queens give Kayla that flank, and she crosses over, going into Erica from the side. And Caitlin starts swinging against Megan. Oh, it's going for those gaps, trying to find a soft spot where she can deal some damage. And Megan ties her up. She's tired of that swinging. Oh, and on the far side, Marie takes down Julie with a great hip throw, and she starts swinging on Erica, just pounding those shots into the helmet and now into the leg. Erica's trying to block, and she can't take it. And that's another round to the Witches for 3v1. So definitely Marie, I think MVP that round. She took down Julie with a great throw over the top, and those strikes were pretty vicious coming in against Erica. And the assist there would go to Kayla for holding Erica in a compromised position. And also, Caitlin did get in some good swinging. Megan tried to shut her down, but it wasn't enough for the rest of the team. All right. We're going into a third round of melees. Some last-minute strategy there between Megan and Julie. All right, it looks like they're going to go 1 and 2, splitting the group. So Erica's going to have to just stand on her own, and Kayla pushes her straight into the corner and starts swinging for the legs, trying to weaken her up. The one-handed strikes usually aren't enough to drop anyone, but Marie comes in with some very strong strikes against Julie. And she withstands it, but now Caitlin has an opening. In the corner, Kayla continues to grind down on Erica. Erica's starting to lose her footing, but her teammate... And that's Erica down with the assist from Caitlin. And good rotating out to the remaining fighters. Kayla's going to hold Julie and just let Caitlin go to work. Caitlin's trying to find those soft spots. Kayla's trying to do her teamwork and just hold her opponent. Megan comes in to assist, try to break Kayla off of Julie. And Marie is just going to wait for an opening. And Julie gets ground down. So that makes it 3v1 again. So after 3 rounds of melees, that makes our score 6-0. We're going to fit in 1 more round of melees in this quarter. And I'm amazed that all these fighters are going every round. Often you don't see fighters do more than 1 or 2 rounds before needing to sub out. And the fact that there aren't any subs does make it hard for them, but they're not quitting. Their endurance is high, and they are sticking with it. And here we go into the final round of the melee for the first quarter. All right. They're waiting to engage. Witches are in no real rush. They've already built a strong lead. Kayla engages Erica and forces her into the corner. Is she just going to hold her there, or is she going to go for something more? Continues to try and soften her up with those leg strikes. Julie comes into the center and gets hit on both sides. An effective throw from Marie, drags her down. And now Oh, Marie has a great grappling position on Megan, right across the shoulders. And, oh, in the corner, the 2v1 pushes Erica down, ending the round, ending the quarter. And so far, the witches are sweeping. So that brings us to the end of the first quarter. It's going to be tough for the Queens to claw back from this. These fights are great for training our regional team. Both of these teams make up our New England Banshees, the regional team, and they get split up for these chapter wars as a great training tool to start developing strategies and build individual skills. And so the women vacate and the men are helmet up, getting ready to fill up this break period. The women are going to get 10 minutes of rest, which is going to go very quick after they've all been in every one of those rounds. We gotta say, all our women fighters are still looking strong. I don't think there's going to be any quitters, certainly after this first quarter. Okay, and now we have the men mustering up at the rally point to enter the list for the next round of violence. Our squires are giving them a once-over, making sure every strap is strapped and buckle is buckled. And now we've got two teams. We've got Dustin's Destroyers and Chuck, what's your team? And ChuckArmy, of course. All right, so here comes Dustin's Destroyers. We've got Dustin entering, followed by Jack and Egon. Chuck in the red and white, the Woodchuck. Liam in his gilded brig. Josh Bro in the shiny lobster tail. And Chuck Vallis in the blackened helm with the gold wolf ribs. Okay, and Josh continues on to the outside, so we are going to stick for 3v3 for these fights. But Dustin's team will still have the advantage having the fresh man available for swap outs. So I guess we're probably going to do a few rounds of this. Yeah. So we've got Dustin Destroyers heavily favoring the visored helmet look with 2 griffins and a sugar loaf. And Chuck has 2 griffins and a chain face bassinet. Chuck engages Jack with some heavy axe strikes. Ooh, he cuts across to try to ambush Dustin. Oh, and he is ready for Jack's counter charge. He ducks that charge and flips him right onto the ground. Dustin goes for the throw and gets it, but Liam finishes him off, and he is downed. And ChuckArmy takes this round. I'm going to see if we can get that instant replay. It may have been too long, but let's see if we can get a view of that great action from Chuck. Ah, no, it's too late. Excellent work from Chuck Vallis in that round. He had great field awareness. He engaged on the far right and then cut across left to drive the centerman into the corner. He was aware that his opponent on that flank was coming in, and he ducked and hit him with the saran wrap and flipped him right over his back, almost throwing him out of the list. And then he managed to keep his feet quite long against Dustin and sort of drag Dustin down with him when he went for that throw, with Liam finishing off that push on Dustin to secure the round. All right, and we're moving into another round. We did have an exchange. Josh did step in for Jack. Oh, and another great play for the two Chucks. Josh hesitant as Chuck closes in on him. Chuck has a strong underhook and takes him straight over. But he has an armor failure, so he's going to get set for that. So we still have Dustin and Liam versus Chuck. So Chuck and Liam are... Liam has his leg. He is not letting go. Oh, but he slips his grip, and Chuck tries to walk him over Egon. Chuck trying not to get that weapon under the neck. And Liam wants to get in and grab that leg to drag him down. Dustin says no, and a strong teep pushes Liam to the ground. So we are down to 1v1 with the two captains of these teams. All right, and we have two weapons from both fighters. Not usually the strongest technique, but it's a lot of fun. Oh, Dustin tries to throw. Chuck says no. Chuck trying to push him over the bodies, but Dustin dances around Liam's corpse. And both fighters taking a breath to reset. I hear some heavy breathing. I think it's coming more from Chuck, because Dustin's ready to push in again. And Dustin finally pulls that throw off, and Chuck goes to the ground. So that evens up ChuckArmy versus Dustin's Destroyers, 1v1. Are we going to do a third round perhaps to even that out? Our Squire tries to get in to help. It looks like maybe a chin strap came a bit loose for Chuck Goodwin's helmet. And they're only going to have a minute or so to rest. And Dustin, after that long round, substitutes back in with Jack. So this is going to be tough for the ChuckArmy after a very grueling exchange of grappling. All right, so the last round. Let's get it on. Chuck Vallis on the right, eyeing that opening, shoots that gap. Bit of an exchange between Jack, and it is just a tornado. It's a good thing they can remember who's on whose team. All right, Josh Bro takes down Chuck with a suicide. Egon tries to get in on Liam's back. Oh, Goodwin. Oh, and Liam is the last one standing after all those fighters tumble down. And that gives the third round to Team ChuckArmy. And we're going to have the men vacate the list and bring in our duelists for the second quarter of the Witches vs. Queens chapter match. All right, and in the list now we have Caitlin versus Julie. Caitlin for the witches, Julie for the queens. We are doing another sword and shield bout. It looks like they're both using a strapped 2-foot shield, and Caitlin has an arming sword, Julie with a falchion. So Julie will have probably the harder hits, but hitting harder doesn't score you more points in a duel. It's just the number of clean strikes, so Caitlin's arming sword may have the advantage here. Alright, and they're off. Caitlin's shield actually might be a little smaller than 2 foot. It looks maybe more like an 18-inch. Fitted just about past her elbow. Alright, Caitlin with a good low strike. Caitlin trying to set up with a kick there. Alright, pretty even so far. Not a lot of strikes being thrown. Julie came in, I think, with a good head strike there. And it looks like both fighters are probably still pretty tired after that first quarter. They had that rest period, but it's not enough that you can get your armor off. It's not enough that you can fully rest. So your recovery is still impeded because you're still wearing that full armor. Maybe you get your helm off. Maybe you get your brig open, but that's about it. That sounds like a draw. Let me double check that. Brandon! Draw? Yeah. Confirmed. That round was a draw. Moving into round 2. Okay. Caitlin with some good striking early on. Julie, oh, it looks like Julie got herself an arming sword. Something a bit lighter. Yeah, and she is making much more efficient work with that. Getting some solid strikes in. Julie really sort of favoring that slanted offside, trying to sort of shoot the gap while Caitlin is striking. And find that open helmet. Caitlin trying to throw a low-high combo. Not sure if she's landing with much power. Caitlin again with that low-high, but looked like Julie's defense was on. Okay. Winner of that. And Queens are on the board. Taking that round, making the score, which is 7-1, I do believe. into one more round of duels. Maybe Julie can score some more for her team. And they're off. Julie just coming over the top. And Caitlin still trying to work that low-high. Caitlin is throwing a lot more combos. I think Julie's timing is finding that rhythm better, though. And she might be getting in with more clean strikes. And both fighters are struggling to keep their guard up. I can tell you that I am going to be shocked if both of these fighters make it into the next round of melees, because they are putting all they have right now into these duels. Alright, that's the end of the duels. Okay, counters are conferring. And Julie takes another round off of Caitlin. So that brings the score to Witches versus Queens, 7-2. And the rest of the team takes the field. Alright, so we're going to move on, and it looks like we're going to do some 2v2s to start off these melees. Both of those duelists gave it a lot in those rounds. Julie really performing for her team, getting them on the board. So on the far side we've got Marie in the wolf ribs with the black and yellow neck protection, and Kayla with the chain face and aventail, that's the word. On this close side, the queens, we've got Erica on the left with the sugarloaf, and the captain Megan with the blackened wolf rib helmet. Okay, Marie has brought out her pole arm. That is a favored weapon for Marie. So that's a scary position for the queens to be in. We'll see if she gets a chance to really let it swing. Knowing Kayla is usually an excellent guard, good at tying people up and providing those striking opportunities. Kayla moves in on Erica. Erica shifts into the middle field. She doesn't want to get tied up into the corner again. Fighter circling, and Erica closes. Kayla's strength pushes her to the list, and Erica and Megan closed on Marie, preventing her from swinging that pole arm. All right, fighters on both sides struggling, and Kayla grinds down Erica and moves in on Megan for some striking on the soft parts. Ooh, and she finds those armor gaps. Both fighters. And we have a switch, and Marie finally gets to swing that pole arm right into the leg, trying to change up those lines so that, ooh, strong strike into the leg, drops Megan. And that's going to win another round for the Witches. Here we have a excellent example of pain compliance, where a strike can come in even through that armor. It just hits with enough force that your body says, I'm done, and you've got to take a breather. But Megan is back up and ready to put in another round. Checking out the fresh dent in her thighs. All right, and on the witches, Caitlin is ready and subbed in for Marie. That was a pretty long round. We'll see how many rounds of melees we get in this quarter. All right, Caitlin crosses, and Megan pounces on her, but Kayla pushes Erica in, and we have a strong pile up in the corner. Megan, excellent, dragged down, and Kayla suicides with Erica. All right, round 3 of melees in the second quarter. Julie has subbed in for Megan, and Marie is back in, letting Kayla sub out. Marie hunting down Julie, waiting to strike, looking for an opportunity, waiting for Julie to let her guard down. All right, Caitlin goes in against Erica, trying to get her axe handle up over, and a strong strike from Marie knocks Erica down, and she puts some swings into Julie. Very strong striking, hitting high, hitting low, trying to avoid Julie's shield, and Julie has had enough. She gets beat down with some strong strikes from both Marie and Caitlin. Now, if you notice, Caitlin is swinging just an axe handle. She's doing her Earn Her Axe challenge here at the Knights Hall. Knights Hall has a strong tradition of axemanship, and in order for the members of the Knights Hall to use an axe in melees, they have to go through a trial of using a axe handle alone, usually fortified with some extra tape, just to prove that they've got the technique down to represent the Knights Hall swinging that short axe. Okay. And Julie has to sub out for Megan, so Megan's back in, and Kayla is back in, subbing out for Caitlin. Alright. Kayla tries to pin down Megan's shield. And Kayla has Megan in the corner, right where she wants her. Marie comes in for a strong strike. Erica tries to come in to block, but quickly gets dragged down by Marie. Now Megan is in a very compromised position. Kayla goes low, tries for a leg drag, and pulls it off cleanly. Alright, so this is going to be the last round of melees for the first half in Queens vs. Witches. Alright. Alright, both fighters taking their time. Witches in no real rush. They still have a strong lead, and they are fine to run out the clock. Alright, Kayla comes in over the head of Erica, trying for a throw, trying to pull her across her hip, but manages to just drag her down. And, ooh, that is some soft strikes. When you don't hear that ting, that means they found a gap. And they work together and drag Julie down. And that ends the second quarter and the first half of Queens vs. Witches, with the Witches in a commanding lead. Okay, so we've got some halftime duels. For some men, we got some pickup duels. We're going to be doing a few rounds of sword and buckler. Now, sword and buckler are scored from the waist up. So leg strikes aren't going to get you the points, and it is first to 5 strikes. So these rounds can go pretty quick. There's a lot of technique involved because you really have to keep your attack and defense on point, because if you leave an opening, somebody could get in 2-3 strikes real fast with these arming swords. So on the far side, we've got Liam Fitzpatrick Rise in the golden brig. And the close side, we have William Alloway in the green brig. Our referee Brandon is running over the rules again real quick for the fighters. For our counters, we have Kat and Mikey. Fighters are ready, and they're off. Okay, now, William is fighting lefty. That's something I did not realize they were a lefty. William often favors longsword duels. They haven't branched into sword and buckler that much. This is very interesting to see for them. That's 5. Okay, so it looks like that was 5 strikes on William, giving Liam the win for round 1. Both fighters getting a minute to catch their breath. Yeah, so William, another, well, I'd call him a secret lefty, but I guess it's not really a big secret. Since they fight longsword so often, it is a little harder to tell when they are lefty. That can really change up the dynamic, but it looks like Liam's flat snaps are paying off. All right, round 2. So Liam is keeping his sword arm out quite a bit further than you would typically do in a melee guard. Probably because the strike you need is not quite as forceful. You just need to make good, clean contact. And that snuck in a hip strike from William. I think we'll win him that round. And our team doctor, Popcorn, paying the list a visit. All right, so we are tied up 1-1. It looked like in that round, William really picked up the pace of his striking. Liam can be very aggressive when he's in a duel. All right. Round 3. Both fighters have similar guards. Will with some great blocking there. Swinging a bit wide. Trying to generate perhaps more power than necessary. And with that strong Molinet over the top, looks like Liam's going to take that round. And after a very close match, 2-1, this sword and buckler duel is going to Liam. Alright, so we've got our 7 all-v-all fighters in for another round of chaos. See what we got for weapons. It looks like Chuck's going in. Sword and axe. Liam is going with his falchion and buckler. Jack is going with his falchion and punching shield. Egon, mace and buckler. That is a small buckler, but it is great for punching. Dustin has a weapon I can't see. A little away from the Hallfather there. And then we got some more weapon and shields. Alright, and they're off. Dustin bravely takes the center of the field, inviting all challengers, and Chuck lines up against him with his short axe and buckler. Egon tries to come in against him on the side. Chuck keeps his legs up. Alright, fighters are trading off. Nobody has gone down yet. Oh, and Jack pulls a good throw off on Egon. And Josh Bro is brought down with on a 2v1. Oh, Chuck Vallis is dragged down. And we got Liam shoved in a corner from Chuck Goodwin. Very risky place to be. And, oh, Chuck Goodwin suicides with Liam, leaving Jack and Dustin in the center. Oh, and Dustin maneuvers Jack into a compromised position, shoving him off his feet. So, Dustin gets first pick for the next round of teams, and then we're going to have Jack leading the other team. So, Dustin wins, so his first pick. All right, Dustin picks Chuck Goodwin. Jack picks Chuck Vallis, splitting up the ChuckArmy. Dustin goes for Josh Bro. Egon is picked by Jack, and then Liam, who's tired after that tough all-v-all and those duels, is going to join the Dustin Destroyers. Okay, and the women are on the field for the fourth and final quarter. Again, we are skipping the duels portion for this quarter, as agreed to by the two captains. The endurance that these women have shown today has been incredible. The fact that any of them are still on the list after all the rounds they've put in is pretty incredible. So we are off. The score is currently Witches 15, Queens 3. So this is all academic at this point. But the experience that they're getting is invaluable, and training together will build them for their unified team, the Banshees. Okay, so Caitlin and Megan tussle in the far corner. Kayla breaks away to help Caitlin. And Caitlin breaks free and swings on Erica. Kayla has Megan tight. So now it's Erica and Caitlin. Loose. Oh, but Megan breaks free from Kayla, bringing it to Caitlin. She's over the top. She's pushing her down and gets her down. Now Kayla is by herself. Kayla twists down, tries to get Megan or Erica on the ground. But now Kayla has her back to Megan. Megan swinging, trying to find those soft spots. But after this fourth quarter, she doesn't have a lot left on those swings. Kayla manages to pull Erica over her leg. And now we have Megan versus Kayla. Both are tired. But Kayla brings the pressure. Oh, they both take a break. And Kayla has the underhook. She's got her weapon tight across Megan, but she can't hold it. Megan squirms herself into the corner, but Kayla is gassed. Both fighters really don't have a lot left in the tank. And they're struggling. Some pokes with the shield from Kayla. If Kayla could just position herself behind Megan, could probably just walk her down. Megan could outlast Kayla. If Megan could just give a strong push, could probably take Kayla over the bodies. Kayla is on top, and now just putting her weight down, but Megan squirms free and stands up again. Oh, some knees coming in on both sides. Okay, both fighters are tied up. Not a lot of activity happening. They both are expended. Okay, we're going to take this fight maybe to the center of the list. Megan still has her feet under her. She's standing under her own power. Kayla's going to have to come to her. Megan's dancing around the bodies, trying to keep some distance. This has been a very long round. All right, Kayla closes. Megan tries to kick her legs out from under her. Some strikes coming in from Megan. Landing uninhibited. Those kicks are landing strong. Kayla refuses to go down, but is not bringing the fight to Megan. Okay, Kayla tries to get a kick in on the leg. Kayla tries to bring her weight up over the top of Megan. But Megan just refuses it, backs out, takes the space. Megan does not want to engage Kayla on the list. And Kayla is hesitant to leave it. Megan and both fighters are playing ring around the rosy, or ring around the bodies. Kayla coming in with some strikes to the leg, coming over the top, tries for that throw, and oh, it's a draw! Oh, wow. Wow, that was grueling. And that first round took so much time. We have only time for one more round for this fourth quarter. Those fighters must be exhausted. The Witches are in a very good position here because they have Marie to sub in, who has stepped in, and Caitlin went down pretty early, so she had a lot of laying down time, along with Erica. However, Megan doesn't have a third fighter at this point, so either she's gonna tough it out, or it's gonna be Erica 2v1. Knowing Megan, I think Megan will stick with it, and she will struggle through. She's very tough. Maybe she'll use that timeout to get a little extra breathing room, and I see a potential armor failure. Let me shout out to the Squires. Okay, no, it looks like extra armor should be all set. So I am frankly unsure how Megan is even standing at this point. But we're going to get this last round in. We're sending it. Last round of the match. This score should be Witches 16, Queens 3. But the Queens are looking pretty fresh. I don't see them giving up this round. Megan is the aggressor here. Witches are just giving them all the time they want. Megan engages with a strong kick. Caitlin circles around for some strikes. Catches Erica coming in. And now Caitlin is squaring off with Erica, but Caitlin breaks away to get some more strikes in on Megan. And now we are all tangled up. Caitlin's getting some great open strikes in. She's not holding back. This is the last round. She's swinging with what she has. Again, Caitlin is using that wrapped maul handle to earn her axe in today's fight. She's been using it the whole time, as is the challenge. Megan's still giving it everything she has. And amazingly, she still has something to give. After that last round, this is amazing. But Megan has a heart that cannot be matched. Megan slowly working the witches into a corner, but Caitlin circles out into midfield. Quick check to make sure Erica's not rushing. And Caitlin working with kicks and strikes on Megan. Erica closes in on Marie to lock her down, and Megan pushes the assault against Caitlin. Has an overhook. Oh, and Erica goes down to Marie. Marie comes in swinging for the head. Some solid blows, and Megan's had enough. Very fair. So that ends the event after 4 quarters and tremendous attrition. The witches prevail, 17-3 versus the queens. The fact that any of these fighters are still standing is astounding, because how many rounds they've all put in is almost unheard of. With very few substitutions to be had, they gave it everything they had, and I think you could see that on the field, just how hard they fought and how deep they dug. So congratulations to the witches for that commanding victory, and we've got one more round of men's all-v-all for your entertainment, and they are making their way into the list now. And entering late entry, we have Egon, still ready to fight after some armor repair. All right, another last round of all-v-all. In comes Dustin against Chuck. In comes Jack against Chuck. Oh, Jack goes low against Chuck Goodwin, trying to get that leg drag. Josh Broach is muckled onto that leg harder than a scallop. Chuck is fending off strikes from 3 people. Oh, he works Josh Bro down to the ground. 1-0 Chuck. And now they're all scared. They don't want to engage. Jack jumps in, tries to lock down Chuck's arms. Switches with Dustin. Dustin has his weapon under the... no, he's good. His weapon's in great position. Behind the back. And he is slowly drags down Goodwin. And now the all-v-all fully kicks off. We got calls from the crowd for a gang up on Dustin. Oh, Egon tries it. And Dustin ducks in, taking out his knees, dropping him to the ground. Now Jack and Liam are going to go in against Dustin. Oh, Dustin has a beautiful throw against Jack and shoves Liam bodily to the ground. Well-deserved victory from Dustin on our all-v-alls. And so that concludes our broadcast today. Our fighters really gave it all they had, and they had a lot of fun doing it, I can tell. If you're interested in this, you too can get involved. It is something that is across the country and across the world. Visit Armored Combat Sports to find out more. If you're in the Nashua area, Nashua, New Hampshire, check out the Knights Hall. They have a full dedicated gym for this sport, and they also have online classes as well you can engage with. So thank you again. My name's Chris. I'm with Steel Tiger Media, helping produce this event today, and we wish you all happy fighting.